Hello, folks. I like to do a variety of topics. Sometimes I'll do current events and, things that you hear on CNN or Fox News for the day. But I also like to delve into some broader subjects sometimes that aren't covered that much in the den of the mainstream media cycle. And today is such a time. What I'd like to talk about is that there's a contract proposal out by the Pentagon. This is multi-billion-dollar contract for cloud storage services of some of our most secret and top secret information. And if you know anything about the cloud, the advantage, so to speak, of the cloud is that any computer anywhere in the world can access information, um, via the internet very easily and quickly, etc., etc. Plus, it can store just large quantities of information and all this. And so the Pentagon is farming this out to private companies. Now, we're talking about some of the most sensitive information that our military uses, people. We're talking about troop movements, troop locations, ship lanes, ship movements, ship locations, submarines, troop strength, drone information, all of this stuff that a military person out in the field may need to access on his computer while they're in a firefight trying to figure out how to do things. These are the things that are going to be stored on these cloud services that the Pentagon is about to farm out to private industry. And just that on the face of it makes an old fart like me wonder what in the hell are these people thinking? And if you've watched me at all, you know that that's one thing that I often wonder is where do we get these people? They're just the level of, I hate to call it sheer stupidity, but geez, it just seems like it so often, doesn't it? Where do they get these people? You've got the greatest military power in the world who is about to turn over the storage of all of its most secret and top secret information to a private company that is run by a bunch of liberals who, at best, loathe the military and, at worst, don't even like America. And I'm sorry, but this is indisputable. Liberals loathe the military, and there's constantly, I mean, you can say they love America and they're trying to save us from ourselves, but they constantly put us down. They constantly put down every military operation that's ever done. Unless Obama's doing it, then it's okay. We can drone anybody in the world, American citizen or not, doesn't matter. If Obama does it, it's cool, it's good. But anybody else does it, and it's just terrible, horrible warmongers who are trying to impose the imperial will of the United States on the world and blah, blah, blah. You've heard it yourself for decades now. You know who I'm talking about. They're all out there. And these are the people who work for companies like Amazon and Google and Oracle and all these companies who are vying for this contract. Amazon is, in fact, supposed to be the big leader in the hunt for this contract. Most people think they'll get it. Donald Trump has spent months out there talking about what a horrible company Amazon is, and now he's going to give billions of dollars to them to store our secret and top secret information on a server farm somewhere that we don't know, which is going to be manned and monitored and maintenance by who? a bunch of little liberal IT techs who hate America and loathe the military. This is what we're doing. I'm sorry, is there anybody out there besides me that thinks that this is not the greatest idea that they've come up with? Now, I understand there's some intricacies to this stuff. These companies have built an infrastructure that we as the federal government don't ourselves have at this time. But your first instinct for this, right? We want to store all of the greatest secret, top secret stuff on a bunch of servers somewhere. Where are you going to put it? If they just came to you and said, "Citizen, where do you think we should put this information?" Now, if you say about 12 floors below the Pentagon in a salt mine manned by a bunch of top secret military SEALs, etc., now you're on about the same page that I'm on, because this is my first instinct. But that's not what we're going to do. No, we're going to give it to Amazon. Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, which constantly berates Donald Trump, constantly puts out fake news about our president and the things that he's trying to do in the world. This is who we're going to give the information to. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? It amazes me that anybody even thought of this. But then again, I remember that the Pentagon itself is staffed by at least 40% crazy people. And by crazy people, I mean liberals. And so it's not that unusual that something like this would come up. What's unusual is that the powers that be allow it to continue when they have to know this is a disaster waiting to happen. Anybody who's been paying attention to the news lately knows that we already have some Google employees who were just up in arms about the fact that the Pentagon wanted Google Earth to, redo some of their algorithms so that their drone targeting could be more accurate. Think about this. The military is asking a private company to redo their algorithms so that we as a country could be more efficient militarily in the targeting of our drones. Now, this doesn't just help our military, this helps prevent civilian death in other countries. Collateral damage is lessened if we have better information. And yet, these little liberal ITs are just up in arms that they're asked to be involved in something that ends up, with droning people and people dying. A military operation where people get killed. They see themselves as part of it now, and they don't want any part of it. They're already complaining about things like this. So you get your little cloud farm somewhere in the United States, and it's run by a bunch of Amazon employees. One thing Eric Snowden showed us, I'm not a huge fan because I think there's other ways he could have done what he wanted to do, but that's an aside. But the one thing that he showed is that it only takes one person who is upset with what you're doing and a thumb drive. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to upset the whole apple cart. So I know we're not in a huge war at the moment. We have our little skirmishes. But we could be in one. And we could be in one soon. Who knows? Nobody knows these things until they hit. Can you imagine if America was in a really big shooting war and one little IT tech who thinks that we're an imperialist country who doesn't deserve to have the most powerful military in the world decides to do something about it? Once again, one person a little thumb drive, and all of this information is out in the public sphere. Our enemies will have access to troop movements, troop locations, strategic plans, submarine locations, ship movements, everything, drone targeting, everything you could possibly imagine that the military uses to win a war could be released publicly for everybody to see, including our enemies, because of one little libtard with a thumb drive. This is what they're putting at risk if they allow a private company run by liberals who hates the military to store all of our private, secret, top secret data that the military uses in day-to-day operations. This is insanity. Liberalism is a mental disorder, and you have liberals at top echelons of the Pentagon. That's how things like this get through. People without an ounce of common sense propose these type of things, and they couch it in all kinds of reasonable arguments. We don't have the capacity. We don't have the infrastructure. It would cost us billions and billions of dollars in order to do it ourselves. So we have to depend on private contractors. We do that all the time anyway in the military. We depend on private contractors. This is no different. We're just going to have a private contractor who stores all of our secret and top secret information on their little cloud. There was a famous joke in a movie not too long ago. Nobody knows what the cloud is. Right? Most of us don't understand exactly what the cloud is. We get the gist of it, but we don't really know what it is. There's a famous T-shirt out there. The cloud is just somebody else's computer. That's the cloud. So the American military has decided that they are going to pay someone billions of dollars to store all of our secret and top secret information on somebody else's computer. Do you think that's a good idea? Me neither.